But we have a question from Marlon in the Philippines. Pronouns are he, him. Welcome, Marlon. Thanks for waiting. You're on the hang up.
Hello, guys. I was just wondering on how would you atheists react at a meal where you are required to pray, like a Christmas or Thanksgiving meal, or what would you do at a situation where you are required to go to church for the purpose of a family reunion or holiday?
Okay, so first of all, I'm gonna let Andrew start in on this. I just want to say that there are no situations under which I'm required to do any of that. There may be situations under which I'm expected to do that. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I've of course had this happen. My family's not big into prayer. You'll be shocked to know. But I've certainly been at meals where prayers are said, and I sit there and I usually make eye contact with the other couple of atheists in the room, the godless. Everybody's got their heads bowed, and we're kind of looking at each other like, yeah, you too, huh? And as far as going to church, I mean, it's my family. I'm respectful, but I don't participate. I've had to go to many a Catholic wedding, unfortunately. I actually talk about this now it's the second to last chapter of The Founding Myth. I talk about a Catholic wedding I went to. One of the things I did was it's like a full mass. And so I counted the number of times that the priest mentioned Jesus or the church versus the number of times that he mentioned the couple. And it was like a 4-to-1 ratio. It's like, these people are getting married. They're committing their lives to each other, and you're making it all about you and your church. So, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I'm quiet. I'm respectful. I'm not shy about talking or answering questions and being who I am. I never would subjugate myself or not be true to myself in a situation like that. I also should say I have it much easier than a lot of people around the world. It might be a different case where something like that could legitimately put you in danger of life and limb in a different place in the world. So I'm lucky to be in a place where I can do that.
Yeah, and my answer isn't that much. My answer isn't that much different, other than to say, I've been to church. I like going to churches. I go to churches voluntarily on occasion. And while I don't participate, I don't pray. When people stand up, I stand up. When people sit down, I sit down. I'm not going to sit there. I'm not going to try to create any kind of disturbance. If I'm at family's house for the holidays and they want to pray and hold hands, I will hold hands and stand quietly, and I'll look around to see who's looking at me, which is it's a shocking number of people who don't keep their eyes closed and their heads bowed, but are instead looking around to see who else is not doing this. But I don't pray, and I won't pretend to pray. If somebody said, "Oh, Matt, will you ask the blessing?" I'd be like, "No, that's not my place." I on the other hand, if we're having dinner at my house, there will not be a prayer, but if my guests wish to pray over their food, I will let them. I'm not going to throw a fit. If we all sit down to dinner and I'm ready to eat, and the person across from me, even in my home, says, "Excuse me, I want to pray for a minute," and they pray quietly to themselves, good for them. It doesn't bother me in the slightest. I'm not here to turn everything into, you got to do it my way or get the fuck out. I'm more concerned with people treating people in my house with disrespect and things like that. If you want to pray.
Yeah. Some of my fondest memories are going to Seders that I was invited to with some of my Jewish friends. I love those. And but I love them for the community of the meal, not the religious traditions that are involved in it. So it's not, it's just treat everybody with kindness and empathy, and it'll be much easier. I don't know. Are you having a problem?
Good, Marlon?
You guys really, yes. I was saying that you guys really handle it well over there, since Philippines is a strictly religious country. Most of the people here are religious.
We're lucky. Yeah, we're lucky to have this. We're lucky to have this level of freedom. No doubt about it.
And then one more question. Do you guys think that Thanksgiving or Christmas is a religious holiday? Or, and can you explain it to a newcomer like me?
So this is real easy, Marlon. I don't view Thanksgiving as a religious holiday for me. If somebody else wants to view it as a religious holiday for them, they can. I don't view Christmas as a religious holiday. As a matter of fact, if you go on YouTube and you go to my channel, you'll find a video called Atheist Christmas that's about me, and it has my ex-wife on there, someone who's still a good friend of mine, who she loves Christmas. I really like Christmas in many ways. There are things about Christmas that I don't like, but I would bet money. And I would love to have somebody do this. We went around and we looked at the Christmas decorations that people put up, and I think it was 8% of houses in Austin, Texas that we polled, and we did like 4 or 5 different subdivisions. Less than 8%, I think, had anything religious in their decorations at all. It was lights and frosty. There were more Snoopy from Peanuts in people's lawns than there were Christian symbols. Now, that's not true everywhere. I know other places where you're going to see a nativity scene everywhere along the way. So it varies from place to place. But I'd be willing to bet that if you stood outside of most churches in June with a clipboard and said, hey, I'd like to ask you some questions if you don't mind. We're polling people about what's going on in their community. And you ask them for word associations, like, what's the first thing you think of for birthdays? What's the first thing you think of with regard to flags? What's the first thing you think of with regard to Christmas? I bet you Jesus wouldn't make the top 5 because they're not thinking about it. People's reactive view of Christmas is about presents and family, and in the Northern Hemisphere, snow and frosty and all these other things. And so even devout Christians who, when it gets to be Christmas season, will say, Jesus is the reason for the season. I don't think they'd give that same answer off the cuff when phrased properly.
Yeah, I have a tree in my house. It's decorated with Darth Vader and Yoda and Harry Potter and all manner of pop culture stuff. I have a blow up dragon in my front yard. Like, yeah, I mean, I enjoy it, and let's take it back. I mean, really, this was a pagan, celebration of light in the darkest winter. I think we are waging a war on Christmas. We are going to take it back. Anyway. That's just red meat.
I got to let you go, Marlon. I hope those answered your questions. We'll talk to you again,
Thanks, Marlon.
Another day.